We got a report on the fourth floor, a male with a shotgun, multiple shots fired, multiple people down.
After the incident began, the scene was one of absolute confusion. Shots were ringing out. The nightmare was unfolding.
Mass shootings in the United States are on the rise, with incidents increasing at an alarming rate. The numbers are staggering and the impact is devastating. Lives lost, families shattered, communities left broken.
You can walk! Shot fired!
Despite the growing crisis, debates over gun control remain fiercely divided. A majority of Americans, 57%, are in favor of stricter gun laws. What drives these shocking acts of violence?
As mentally ill, we're different from the norm. How else? Being successful with the mission.
Welcome back to the heartbreaking and harrowing reality of mass murder shootings in the U.S., Part 2. June 12, 2016, was meant to be a night of celebration. Pulse, a popular gay nightclub in Orlando, Florida, was hosting Latin Night. The atmosphere was electric, with music, dancing, and joy filling the air. But at 2:02 a.m., the celebration turned into a nightmare.
Let's go!
Omar Mateen entered the club armed with a semi-automatic rifle and a Glock 17 pistol and immediately began firing into the crowd. The chaos was unimaginable. As bullets flew, patrons scrambled for cover. Amid the terror, stories of heroism emerged. Imran Yusuf, a Marine Corps veteran working as a bouncer, opened a latched door, allowing approximately 70 people to escape to safety. Despite his quick thinking, dozens of others were unable to escape. After an initial burst of gunfire, Mateen retreated to a bathroom, taking hostages and engaging in a tense standoff with police that lasted 3 hours. During this time, Mateen shockingly paused to search for news coverage of the shooting and even posted messages on Facebook. Patience Carter, a 20-year-old hostage, described being trapped in the bathroom with Mateen, suffering injuries, and witnessing the death of her friend. Others played dead, desperately trying to deceive Mateen into believing they were already lifeless. At 5:05 a.m., police set off a controlled explosion to create a distraction as part of their strategy to breach the building. At 5:07 a.m., 14 SWAT officers stormed the nightclub using a Bearcat armored vehicle after a bomb failed to breach the structure. A gunfight erupted, with at least 11 officers firing approximately 150 bullets. Mateen was struck 8 times and killed by police by 5:17 a.m., bringing the massacre to a violent end. Tragically, some hostages were killed during the standoff. Just before police breached the building, Mateen entered a women's bathroom and killed at least 2 people, including a man who sacrificed himself to save a woman behind him. The devastation left in the wake of the attack was staggering. 49 lives were lost, most of them gay Hispanic men who had come to Pulse for a night of celebration and community. Another 53 were injured, many left with lifelong physical and emotional scars. The Pulse nightclub shooting was, at the time, the deadliest mass shooting in modern U.S. history. In its aftermath, the world united in mourning and solidarity. Vigils were held across the globe, and people rallied around the mantra, "We will not let hate win." September 16, 2013, began like any other Monday in Washington, D.C., but by mid-morning, it would become one of the darkest days in the city's history. At 7:53 a.m., Aaron Alexis, a 34-year-old Navy contractor, arrived at the Washington Navy Yard in a rented Toyota Prius. By 8:08 a.m., he entered Building 197, carrying a disassembled Remington 870 shotgun hidden in a shoulder bag. After assembling the weapon in a 4th-floor bathroom, Alexis emerged at 8:16 a.m. and began his deadly rampage. He headed straight to the 4th floor that overlooked an atrium filled with employees, choosing a spot that offered tactical advantage. This strategic positioning aligned with his military training, allowing him to shoot down into the atrium or across onto other walkways. Within minutes, he had killed 8 people on the 4th floor. By 8:20 a.m., he moved to the 3rd floor where he fatally shot 2 more people. Alexis then went to the 1st floor, where he killed a security officer and took his 9mm Beretta pistol. Over the course of 69 minutes, Alexis moved methodically through the building, killing 12 people and injuring several others. His victims ranged in age from 46 to 73 years old. Law enforcement arrived quickly, with the first officers on the scene within 7 minutes of the initial 911 calls.
We got a report on the 4th floor, a male with a shotgun, multiple shots fired, multiple people down.
The horror finally ended at 9:25 a.m., when D.C. Police Emergency Response Team officer Dorian DeSantis shot and killed Alexis. During the confrontation, Alexis shot DeSantis twice in his tactical vest, but the officer was uninjured. In the aftermath, investigators uncovered chilling evidence of Alexis's deteriorating mental state. He had carved phrases like, "better off this way" and "my ELF weapon" into his shotgun, which had been legally purchased just 2 days earlier. These inscriptions hinted at Alexis's belief that he was being attacked by extremely low-frequency electromagnetic waves. It remains the deadliest mass shooting in Washington, D.C. history and the 3rd deadliest mass murder on a U.S. military base, serving as a stark reminder of the devastating consequences when mental health issues go unaddressed. On the night of July 20th, 2012, an unimaginable tragedy unfolded in Aurora, Colorado. At the Century 16 movie theater, excited moviegoers gathered for the midnight premiere of The Dark Knight Rises. But as the lights dimmed and the film began, 24-year-old James Egan Holmes unleashed a meticulously planned act of terror. Dressed in tactical gear, Holmes entered through an emergency exit he had propped open earlier. Armed with a Smith & Wesson M and P15 rifle, a shotgun and a handgun, he set off tear gas grenades before opening fire on the packed auditorium. Chaos erupted as the unsuspecting audience initially mistook the gunfire and smoke for a stunt or special effects.
Eyes are burning, makes you want to just close them, and then you can't breathe and just makes you want to cough.
The devastation was staggering. 12 lives were lost that night, including 6-year-old Veronica Moser Sullivan, whose pregnant mother, Ashley, was critically injured and left paralyzed. 70 others were injured, 58 of them by gunfire. Amid the carnage, stories of heroism emerged. 4 men, including Alexander Tevis and John Larimer, shielded their loved ones from the bullets, sacrificing their own lives to save others. Jessica Gawi, an aspiring sports journalist, had already faced tragedy just weeks before the Aurora shooting. She narrowly survived a mass shooting at the Eaton Centre in Toronto, Canada, where a gunman opened fire, killing 2 people. Reflecting on the fragility of life, Jessica had shared her gratitude for being spared that day. Tragically, fate was not as kind on July 20th, 2012, as she was among the 12 lives cut short in the senseless attack.
I was blessed. Only for 25 years, but I was blessed.
The first 911 calls came in at 12:39 a.m.
I got 7 down in the feet or not. 7 down.
And within 90 seconds, police were on the scene. Officers faced challenges in reaching victims due to the chaotic parking lot.
Got a child victim. I need rescue at the back door of Theater 9 now.
Resorting to transporting the injured in squad cars, Holmes was apprehended without resistance behind the theater at approximately 12:45 a.m. In the 60 days leading up to the attack, Holmes had legally purchased 4 guns and over 6,000 rounds of ammunition. He had also booby-trapped his apartment with explosive devices, which were later safely defused by a bomb squad. Holmes was apprehended without resistance outside the theater. His motives remain complex and disputed. Prosecutors argued he sought infamy, while his defense claimed he was driven by severe mental illness.
As mentally ill or How else? Being successful with the mission.
Holmes himself chillingly admitted he chose the theater for its accessibility and layout, believing it would maximize casualties. The Aurora shooting shook the nation and reignited debates about gun control and mental health. A community was forever scarred, and 12 innocent lives were taken in an act of senseless violence that remains one of the darkest moments in modern U.S. history. On July 18, 1984, a sunny afternoon in San Ysidro, California, turned into one of the darkest chapters in U.S. history. James Oliver Huberty, a 41-year-old unemployed security guard, walked into a McDonald's restaurant armed with an arsenal, a 9mm Uzi carbine, a semi-automatic pistol, a 12-gauge shotgun, and a bag filled with ammunition. Over the next 77 minutes, he unleashed a massacre that would leave 21 people dead and 19 others wounded. Huberty's life had been unraveling for years. Once a welder in Ohio, he lost his job when the factory closed. Financial struggles, a volatile temper, and untreated mental health issues pushed him to the edge. Just 3 days before the massacre, Huberty told his wife he suspected he had a mental health problem. He called a clinic for help, but a receptionist misspelled his name as Schuberty, delaying their response. On the morning of the attack, Huberty ominously told his wife, "I'm going to hunt humans," before leaving their apartment. At 3:56 p.m., Huberty parked his black Mercury Marquis outside the McDonald's. Inside, families and friends were enjoying their meals when he entered, weapons in hand. Without warning, he began shooting. The youngest victim was an infant just 6 months old. The oldest was 74. Families huddled under tables, desperate to shield their loved ones as Huberty fired 257 rounds, reloading methodically and showing no mercy. Police surrounded the building but faced challenges in engaging the gunman without risking more lives. Finally, at 5:17 p.m., a police sniper, Charles Foster, fired a single, fatal shot, ending the nightmare. The aftermath was devastating. Investigators discovered chilling details, such as Huberty's claim of hunting humans and the weapons cache he brought to the restaurant. In a show of respect, McDonald's delayed all advertising for a week, and Burger King followed suit. Later, the restaurant was torn down and replaced by a college campus. Today, a memorial stands in its place, 21 hexagonal granite pillars, each representing a life tragically cut short. The San Ysidro McDonald's massacre remains a haunting reminder of the devastation one man's rage can unleash, and the enduring scars left on a community, forever changed. The rise in mass shootings is a grim reminder of the urgent need for change. As the debate over gun control rages on, the voices of victims and their families echo louder than ever, demanding action and accountability. But here's the question. What will it take for real reform to happen? How many lives must be lost before the cycle is broken? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more in-depth explorations of the issues that matter most. Stay informed, stay engaged, and remember, change starts with awareness. We'll see you in our next video.